Marlins signed right-handed pitcher Trevor Rosenthal to a minor league contract. Rosenthal underwent Tommy John reconstructive elbow surgery last August, and Cody Reed will be skipped on his first scheduled turn in the Reds rotation, so he won't take the mound until early next week. I'm Dan Strafford, and this has been your Fantasy Sports Radio Network News Update.
Stay tuned to the Fantasy Sports Radio Network for more updates at the top of every hour.
Have you ever wanted to have a fantasy expert in the palm of your hand? Or better yet, in the pocket of your khakis? Well, check it out. Now you can. It's the Fantasy Sports Radio Network app. Download it now to your phone, we promise. No weird viruses, no strange tracking things. Just 24 hours a day, 7 days a week of pure fantasy knowledge dropping all over your head. It's the Fantasy Sports Radio Network app. Stop being a weirdo and streaming it online. Get it on your phone. Take it with you everywhere you go.
Steiner Sports is the leading memorabilia provider for the New York Yankees, Rangers, Giants, Knicks, and the Brooklyn Nets. Featuring hundreds of items from your favorite athletes, Steiner Sports is your source for the best sports gifts. Go to steinersports.com/box and shop our collection of memorabilia boxes, which include 10 gifts for the price of one. We've made one for each of your favorite teams. Hurry, supplies are limited, and these are some of the best deals we have ever offered. So go to steinersports.com/box today.
The victories begin in January. The Fantasy Sports Writers Association named Roto Experts winners of 2 Prime Fantasy Baseball Awards. Tim McCullough and Scott Engel joined champion fantasy ranker Jake Seeley on the mountaintop, and now their triumphs are yours with the RotoExperts.com 2018 exclusive Edge Fantasy Baseball Package. A full squad of high-profile winners such as Michael Florio and Joe Galena. They're here to help you take it all. Enter code FNTSY at checkout and join the exclusive Edge Winners Club at RotoExperts.com.
You're listening to the Fantasy Sports Radio Network.
Fantasy Sports Today.
Yeah! Welcome to Fantasy Sports Today. Alongside Greg Sussmania Sussman. We haven't had a Sussmania in a while, have we?
No.
How come?
I thought it was gimmicky, to be honest with you.
That's what made it fun.
So I thought it was a gimmick, and when I was given an opportunity to host my own show on this network, I was like, I don't need to do a gimmick anymore. I can be me.
It still was fun. Jake Seeley joining us via Skype. What's up, Jakey?
What's going on, Nando?
So Matt Medica's not here today. I believe he's off to
watch the Met game.
Yeah, I don't know what stadium he was going to.
I don't think he's going to the game. I think he just wants to watch the game.
Oh, nice. And he sent us a very strange emoji with a cowboy hat. I thought there was some significance. I'm like, why?
There was not.
Yeah, he's like, I don't know. I just thought it looked cool. So, Jake, you a big emoji guy?
Greg knows.
That's a yes.
He loves emojis. Nando also knows. I don't know why he's just saying Greg knows.
I know. Well, I wanted Jake to say it on air. So, fun show today. We got a lot of players. I didn't want to call overreaction, more like snap judgments.
Yeah, we had an overreaction Monday on the BFF show.
Yeah, we're not going to steal that.
Appreciate it.
So here's what we're going to talk about on the show today.
That's a very original idea, Nando. Overreaction. Nobody's ever come up with that before.
Well, this is snap judgments. It's not so much overreactions as it is.
I was joking, Greg, for the overreaction Monday not being original. Never mind. Greg laughed. He understood.
He was calling my idea unoriginal.
Because he came up with it first?
No, because everyone does.
No.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't pay attention to other people's things. I just stay in my lane.
You hate that kind of stuff. You hate that. Like you said, we talked on the phone. You're like, I hate brackets in February or in March.
That's true. Well, because Jake didn't want to do the porn bracket.
Why?
Well, Jake is not a porn guy.
Sure.
Which we all know.
Yeah, of course. That was the joke.
And Medica's not here.
Okay.
We'll wait for Medica to get back. And also, out of principle, I don't like brackets in season. Like when we did Foul Territory.
It was out of season.
We did brackets in like September.
Right.
That's fun. Brackets now is lazy.
I thought the porn bracket was funny. I thought
it was funny because we're going to make Jake do it based on name.
I agree.
And we couldn't let him do Lisa Ann because we know her.
I don't know if she knows any other porn stars are in the bracket. There's a lot of porn stars in the bracket.
I just think some of the names might have been Jake would have been like, all right, I like,
I agree.
We actually messed that, Greg. No, you weren't on there. It was one with Benny. This is back with Benny and Joe. I actually said what my video game name would be or something like that, and it ended up being a porn star name that he told me.
Really, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
Nando, would you have chosen a champion? Would you have been like, oh yeah, you know what, that person deserves to win?
Based on names?
No, based on.
No, I don't really watch. To be honest, I don't watch that much either.
True. I mean, I'm
a married man. I'm home with my wife.
I got it.
Yeah.
But I feel like I grew up on a lot of those names.
I would have thrown Lisa Ann all the way through just because she's a wonderful person.
Just because you're friends with her.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't know if I'm friends with her, but
Yeah, I'd say you're definitely friendly with her.
I would be, if she said Nato's my friend, I'd be honored because she's a wonderful person.
I would definitely think you're friends.
Okay, anyway, let's get back to fantasy baseball. Enough of the fluff. We'll get to that later. Here's how it works on this show. We buy the fun capital as we give you information.
Love it.
Yeah. We don't have fun and then just throw information. Number 1, Nelson Cruz to the DL. This is really more for Matt Medica because he loves Vogelbach. But Greggy, who does win in this Nelson Cruz to the DL situation?
You'd think it's Dan Vogelbach for sure. If he plays, I don't know that he will, but Vogelbach's obviously the initial answer. They called up Taylor Motter, who I feel like you like. Mitch Haniger now batting cleanup, which I think is a great spot for him. Those are like some of the names.
Jakey, do you, is there a dark horse? I mean, Cruz might only be out for 10 days. That's what they're saying. But Nelson Cruz of 6 years ago is the kind of player who would be out for long periods of time with hamstring and calf injuries. I think there was a quad mixed in there. A, do you think it's going to be just 10 days? And B, do you think there's maybe a dark horse?
I only think it's going to be about 10 days. And if you just noticed right now, there's a supreme delay behind the curtain. I'm going to try and fix it real quick. So,
we lose it. All right, Jake's going to reset on Skype. It's too bad because I wanted to ask him if he sniffs Sharpies. We got a brand new Sharpie here.
I actually saw you open the box downstairs.
Yeah,
So the Sharpie.
it's got the pointy, dull Sharpie. There's nothing worse than
We've honestly needed a Sharpie for a while around here.
We got a blue, a red, and a black.
That's
now.
great. How long do you think they'll last?
Probably pretty long because no one else really uses them except for me.
True.
You guys are all on your computers.
All right. What are you looking for, Michelle? She's what are you looking for?
Michelle Serpico, former star of Foul Territory, now star of Carton and Friends.
Your jacket you're
looking for a jacket.
I don't see a jacket in here.
No jacket here.
Check downstairs, maybe? Okay. All right, there you go.
All right. Make sure you follow her on Twitter at Michelle Serpico.
And watch Carton and Friends.
And watch Carton and Friends. Video on demand. Greggy, we got some games going on right now. It's if you're listening to us live, it's about 1:10. So there's one live game that started at 12. And there are some games starting at 1 o'clock, 1:05, 1:10. I've got a 7-page rundown today, so I got to flip to the page where I have all the games written down. Yeah, we got a lot. We're going to get into why Tommy Pham is our new official favorite player. I don't know if
Tommy Pham has been my guy for months.
Did you read the Sports Illustrated article?
No.
Yo, we got some quotes from Tommy Pham.
Yes.
They're amazing. So we're going to keep Matt Boyd as our pitcher, but Tommy Pham's the official hitter of FST.
I like Jake Junis more.
We'll get into that later. Nationals at Braves at 12:10. Rays at Yankees 1:05. Royals Tigers postponed for 1:10. Actually, Rays at Yankees was also delayed, not postponed.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Phillies at Mets at 1. Orioles Astros at 2. Dodgers at Diamondbacks 3:40, and Indians at Angels at 4:07. So we should have a bunch of lineups all the way up to that Angels
Mets
game.
are also delayed now, by the way.
It really is sprinkling. Fair enough.
Well, the Yankees delayed and Mets had to delay too.
All right, what's going on with the Nationals and Braves? There's Scherzer at Fultonevich. Fultonevich had a surprisingly very good first game, 7 strikeouts in 5 innings.
Why is that so surprising? I like Mike Fultonevich.
I think he's got control issues. He had 3 walks, but
that's what he does. I mean, he's obviously throws very, very.
I'm sorry,
hard.
he had 1 walk. I was looking at the Severino line.
He's got good stuff.
And it's against the Philly team.
Throws hard. You know what? Mike Fultonevich threw 3. He's gonna have 1 run today. I like Mike Fultonevich. I drafted Mike Fultonevich. I was in on him last year. I got back in this year. He's good.
And you didn't know Mike Fultonevich.
What do you mean I didn't know Mike Fultonevich?
You just sounded like you were going, and you're no Mike Fultonevich.
Oh, that's funny.
Just you were on a
yeah.
Jakey.
By the way, he has 5 strikeouts through 3 today.
Look, but he did this. I feel like if it wasn't last year, it was 2 years ago. Mike Fultonevich
It was last year.
Amazing start.
100%. It was last year till June.
Yeah.
And there was a disaster.
We got to talk Christian Villanueva.
Yes.
Jakey, welcome back to the show.
Thank you.
How's the delay? We're good?
For now.
All right.
We'll see.
I blame Michelle's jacket. Christian Villanueva, 26 years old, hit .344 with 4 homers, a 1.094 OPS, and 32 at-bats last year for San Diego. Whatever stock you want to put into that. In the minors, 3,300 plate appearances, a .333 minor league OBP, but he had seasons. He had a very steady 500 plate appearances over 6 seasons in the minors. 17, 14, 19, 10, 20, and 20 home runs. Jake, give us the breakdown of Christian Villanueva from your end.
Like the inside scouting report.
What do you think of him? What are you telling people to do?
It's Sam Fold. Remember Sam Fold from the summer of Sam Fold? And it ended up being 3 weeks? That's exactly what this is going to be. Don't waste your time.
I miss Sam Fold.
I don't know if Sam Fold had multiple 15-plus home run seasons in the minor leagues.
True story, Sam Fold playing for Team Israel in the WBC.
He's also in the front office now.
Yeah,
he's like
is.
Phillies.
I saw that. Oh, was it Phillies or Rays?
I want to say
will
Rays.
miss out on him everywhere. Yeah, he's a quad A player.
Villanueva?
Yeah. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but I don't see anything.
You're right, Phillies.
He's a stat head. Like
he's friends with Gabe Kapler.
Yeah. Greggy, National League only. Let's say you got Fab this week. Christian Villanueva. I mean, it's going to be moot because we're going to know what he does with the rest of the week. Maybe Chase Headley plays a little more over him, whatever.
Yeah.
But what do you think?
NL only league, you're saying?
Yeah, NL only. You have to go after him, right?
I think NL only league give it a choice, but I'll go with 9%.
All right, so $9.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone's probably.
I don't know if it was 100 or 1,000, but $9.
Jake, you don't have any faith. Like, if you look at the end of last year, when he joined the Padres organization, this was a different player than when he was with the Cubs, and even I think the Rangers before that. You don't think that maybe like there's some tale of some hitting coach in the organization, like a roving hitting instructor in the Padres organization who helped him tweak his swing and discover something?
I know you love those stories, and I know you should write a novel, honestly. It's about some fantasy baseball player and his long lost travels across the globe and all that. But no, look, again, if it's the Tommy Pham thing where we could point to eye surgery or, like you said, I think we would have heard if somebody had gotten to him. Like, this isn't a race series with pitchers. This is just, somebody who's kind of popped off for a little while here. A few sample last year, a 3 home run game, which is going to be the first person in the world to ever had that happen and never see anything from again. I'm not buying into it.
Jake's so bitter.
Yeah,
by the way,
he does.
Are you guys Daily Roto premium members?
So it's really funny.
I'm getting all these emails. Like, what are these annoying emails? Oh wait, this is important stuff in here.
It's really funny you mentioned that because
lineup alerts.
Yeah,
because I am a Daily Roto member, but I don't really like to pay for things.
No.
So I was literally, as you're speaking, getting up my Slack channel to Slack Leone.
I'm glad Greg is so engaged in this show.
Well, you were talking about golf. I was like, oh my God, I have to go get the Masters stuff from Leone.
Not being engaged in shows is how you get a promotion.
Oh! Shots fired.
Anyway.
Nando doesn't play those games.
Hey, Nando, speaking of those alerts things, the fan tracks, I did that because you know how you always like to double check and see who was the most dropped or who was dropped in your league on Monday in general.
Oh, yeah.
Fan tracks let you set an email alert for anybody that's been added to your league, which is basically if somebody gets dropped, they're added to the free agent pool. But it also gives you alerts every time they add some no-name player from like the 40-man raw. So it's like emails all day long. It's like it's like a catch-22. You want to get them because you don't want to miss out, but at the same time, you get like inundated.
Oh, so I'm looking down at my phone, like, why do I have all these emails? And it's because Daily Roto got turned on today, I guess, with email alerts. We got a lineup for the Angels in Cleveland. We'll get into that in a little bit. They're still waiting on the Dodgers, but we got a Mets and Phillies weather update. Am I supposed to be? I mean, I know there's people pay for this, but I guess if I'm giving them a taste of it, maybe they'll be inclined to
I think you definitely can do it.
Yeah.
Also, use promo code FNTSY at checkout, so you'll get it for cheaper.
Right. See, Greg's good with that stuff. Mets and Phillies will not be starting on time. Rain in the area. Tarp on the field.
Oh, no. What is Facebook going to do?
Oh, that's a good point.
That's not nice.
Jake was listening to Carton this morning.
It's not nice.
All right. So
I already knew about that because I'm a Mets fan.
So you guys are passing on Villanueva for the most part. 3 home run game doesn't mean anything to anyone?
Nothing.
All right. Jake, I want to quickly talk about this Jack Flaherty, the Flaherty-Molly Michaelis thing the phenomenon that's sweeping the nation. Jack Flaherty struck out 9 in 5 innings. Molly had a great game. Michaelis is expected to be amazing. His ADP was a lot higher than I thought it would be when I was hoping that I could sneak him through in a lot of drafts.
Hold on. What? It's Mally, not Molly.
I don't know. Baseball Reference has M-A-H in capitals and then -L-E-E.
I was watching the game. The Cincinnati Reds announcers kept saying Mally.
So I said,
that's what I'm going.
I said Molly yesterday, and Jake killed it.
Really?
Yes.
No, I'm sorry.
And it's Michaelis, not Michaelis.
So I heard
No.
So I heard that.
So I
heard the broadcast also with the Michaelis. I'm like, they're saying this wrong.
It's Michaelis.
It's Michaelis.
Yeah.
No, it's Michaelis.
I don't agree.
I think we need to send.
You can't tell the guy how to pronounce his name.
Did he pronounce it or the announcers announced it?
Yeah, Jake.
No, this is something that we were talking about during the draft and tout wars too. A lot of people, this has been Michaelis. That's how he pronounces it.
No, I can't hate because I'm Nando and everyone calls me Nando, and it's like nails on a chalkboard when they call me Nando.
Or like Corey Parsons.
Yeah, Corey Parsons is good. Greg with 1 G. Jake, when people think
when people call Jake by his real
last name.
When people call Jake by his real name.
They think his middle name is Alan. Yeah, that's true. His last name's pretty messed up.
It's true.
I mean, in a good way. You know what I mean? Like.
Yeah, no, it's messed up all the time, except for the fact that you could just say Seeley and Seeley and just figure it out, but people still mess it up all the time.
It's harder than it looks.
When I tell people my name's Nando,
my grandfather tried to simplify it, and he just sort of changed the spelling at the same time, though.
He used to be Silinovich.
Nope. Actually, it's Polish. You want to take another guess?
Seelinger.
Silowitz.
No, Sislakowski.
Sislakowski.
Oh, like the guy who
easier.
invented Dynasty League Baseball.
Yes, there you go.
It's Zaleski, though. Anyway.
So anyway, yeah, the trio.
Yeah. Rank these trios, Jake. You're the master of rankings. Flaherty,
Yeah.
Maley, Michaelis.
Malley.
I know. Rank them for us.
Flaherty, Michaelis, and then Malley. Although Malley could easily end up number 2. The problem is, we talked about it yesterday, he's got 2 pitches right now, like 2.5 maybe, and that's the real problem here. Is he going to be able to succeed with like 2.5 pitches? The thing is he controls the strike zone so well, and that's what he did well the other day, is the fact that he got behind, he got people on base in the first inning, and then recovered quickly and dominated the rest of the day because he controls the strike zone very well. There are pitchers, look, Bartolo Colon, and I know recent Bartolo Colon is stunk, but Bartolo Colon in his prime was a very good pitcher, basically going off one pitch, a fastball that he threw 90% of the time. If you can command the strike zone, you could have success. It's just very rare for that to happen with only 2 pitches. Flaherty clearly has the most upside. He's got the most pitches. Michaelis, it's a great story going overseas. He's the pitcher of the Thames version and all that type of stuff. I have some questions there, but I would put him second as of today. But I do think Malley could pass him.
You agree? Do you care?
No.
Really?
No.
This is why we don't have a team together anymore, Greg.
I don't care about
Your lax attitude.
Malley and whatever Michaelis is really named.
Wait until we talk about Garrett Hampson a little later in the show. I'm going to give everyone a chance to Google him during the commercial break.
Can I do it right now?
You're going to have to. I have no idea.
I didn't know to be
What the hell is Garrett Hampson?
I didn't know who he was either. He was picked up in one of my Scott White 24-team Dynasty League. And I thought I knew, I thought I knew most of the prospects.
Right.
I immediately Googled the name, and pretty impressive guy. Not going to be there for a while. I mean, his Dynasty League pickup, but
he had a great year last year.
51 steals last year in the minors.
He had a really good year last year.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, your baseball reference, Nando, says Michaelis too.
Really?
All right, look up Maley.
Malley.
I can't say it. Why can't I say it?
I like Michaelis better.
I like Michaelis too. Yeah. We know who we're talking
about. I like him better than Malley, for the record.
Greg Sussman, Tim Anderson with 3 home runs, 3 stolen bases, and a .375 average on the season. How about them White Sox?
Unbelievable.
That's your second wild card team.
Let's get him up. You got
Giolito.
Reynaldo Lopez.
Who is everyone's all over. Sorry.
Did they just get destroyed yesterday?
Yeah, whatever.
Jake, it's a small sample size. Can't you get a little bit excited?
No.
Reynaldo Lopez, Lucas Giolito,
Michael Kopech coming up,
Jamie Shields.
Oh, come on.
Eloy Jimenez coming up.
Yeah,
look at this talent.
That's all. I'm always going to associate Jimenez with Sharon.
Okay. You've named like 5 people.
I could keep going. Tim Anderson.
Yeah. Avasail Garcia.
Jose
Abreu. Joaquim Soria.
I should have had Medica put money on the White Sox.
Should have.
Yeah.
You forgot Yoan Moncada too.
Oh!
Well, that was assumed, Yoan Moncada. All right, we're going to come back. We're going to name more Chicago White Sox. But here's what I have on the rundown. I don't know if we're going to
lineup.
Yelmer Sanchez.
Doubles leaders. There's some interesting names who are leading in doubles right now.
Sure.
Ozzie Albies has an interesting average, and he's one of the leaders in runs scored. I want to get into that a little bit.
Okay.
There was a tweet about Brian Anderson, which I thought was a weak tweet because it was done after the season started, but it still makes a decent point.
Okay.
Edwin Diaz, 3 for 3 in saves. I got a draft tonight. It's a 6x6 league with weird categories. I want to get into that. Obviously, we're going to genuflect at the temple of Matt Boyd and some quotes from the Tommy Boyd story.
Tommy Pham,
sorry. My bad. If we have time, most added, most dropped, most viewed. We'll be right back with more FST after this.
Hello, friends. If you want to win at fantasy sports, wouldn't you listen to people who have already won at fantasy sports? I'm going to tell you about DailyRoto.com. Don't be intimidated by the DraftKings and FanDuel sharks, even the fantasy draft sharks. The guys at DailyRoto.com have not only won $1 million amongst one of the writers, but they've created 3 others. That's 4 people who have won millionaire contests from this content alone. Don't be fooled by screenshots talking about $25,000 winners from other places. Go to DailyRoto.com where they have a proven track record of creating millionaires. DailyRoto.com. Tell them Greg Sussman sent you.
It's Carton and Friends.
Villanova did not handle this the right way either.
No.
They're trying to protect the kid, and rather than just say, look, he was 17, he shouldn't have did it. What did they say?
They said that his account was hacked.
His account was not hacked.
Yeah.
No. He did something when he was younger.
Right.
We all have.
Exactly.
That's one of those situations where you say nothing. But once you say, his account was hacked. No, it wasn't.
now you sound
Do you know
crazy.
anyone who ever had a Twitter account legitimately hacked
At 15 years old.
Yeah.
Weekdays, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern on FNTSY Radio and on your popular podcast providers.
Join the family at Modell Sporting Goods. Visit your nearest Modell's and sign up for our MVP Rewards program to receive insider deals all year round. Earn points on every purchase when you use your MVP card to earn Modell's cash back. It's our way of thanking you for being a loyal customer. Upon signing up, receive 10% off your purchase and 15% off your next purchase. It's that simple. Plus, new MVPs this month are eligible to win a $500 Modell's gift card. When you gotta play more and pay less, you gotta go to Moe's.
Attention all authors. Page Publishing is looking for authors. Have you written a book and want to get it published? Page Publishing will get your book into bookstores and for sale online at Amazon, Apple iTunes, and other outlets. They handle all aspects of the publishing process for you. Printing, cover art, publicity, copyright, and editing. Call 800-292-8137 now for your free author submission kit. That's 800-292-8137 for your free author submission kit. Again, that's 800-292-8137.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to FST. Greg Sussman, Nana DeFano, Jake Seeley. We're here to take you until 2 o'clock when the fantasy BFFs brighten up your world. Mike Florio's still on vacation. You got to fill in, or is this just you and Frank again?
It's Frank and I.
Nice.
We're hanging.
Good times, man.
It's cool. Jake usually hangs out for a little bit, too.
Yeah. It's very gracious of Jake to do that. You're a good guy, Jake.
Extremely gracious.
Anybody know?
I'll let you guys choose. Some guys who are doubles leaders.
Yep.
The Ozzy Albies weird statistic. Edwin Diaz. We said Garrett Hampson's name, so I feel like we've talked enough about him. Or the weird league that I'm in tonight.
Oh man, I guess Jake and I each get a choice. I'm down to hear about your weird league.
All right, Jake, any votes?
No.
All right. Well, thank you for participating. Okay. Then I'll just say Jake did the doubles leaders.
Okay.
Now I'm going to say Jake did Ozzy Albies because I want to get into Ozzy Albies for a second real quick. 200 average, 6 runs scored. He's number 2 in the major leagues in runs scored. Jake, which one of these two do you think is going to win out, I guess?
Which one
the poor average or the high runs scored? Which Ozzy Albies is the real Ozzy Albies?
I think the runs are fine. I think the average is going to come up.
Huh?
I really think Ozzy Albies is going to be extremely valuable this year. I think that he could easily score 90-plus runs, so I'm not afraid of that. And I definitely think he's a better hitter than 200, 220. I think he's more of like a 260 hitter. So I guess I think the runs wins out and the average doesn't because it's going to come up. I guess that's how I'm supposed to answer it. Does that sound right?
Yeah, I basically just wanted should be worried about the 200 average or should we be excited about the 6 runs?
You should be excited about the runs and not worried about the average.
The one thing that surprises me, I believe in the runs. I agree with Jake. I believe in the runs. I think the average comes up. What does concern me, though, is in his first 5 games, the first 25 plate appearances, very small sample size, he hasn't walked once.
Which you got to wonder how he scored those 6 runs.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's really weird to me because he had an 8% walk rate last year. In the minors, it's always been about 8 to 10%. He hasn't walked one time.
You know who's walked 10 times this season?
I hope you tell me.
Freddie Freeman.
How about that?
Why is Freddie Freeman walking 10 times?
Because look who's behind him.
Look who's behind him, Nick Markakis. That's why.
I guess you're right, but I mean, still, man, swing at some stuff.
And behind him is Preston Tucker.
Preston Tucker and Chester Cuthbert.
Don't laugh at Preston Tucker. He had a bomb today off of Scherzer.
That team is going to be so good in 2 months.
Yeah.
That lineup's going to be amazing.
Okay. I like Preston Tucker, by the way.
The team's going to be so good for the next 5 years.
I wish they would get. Well, I guess.
Are you in on Preston Tucker?
I like him.
Okay.
I've always found myself rooting against Preston Tucker because I like so many other
guys.
people.
Yeah.
When he was in Houston.
Yeah.
It wasn't. Yeah. But I've learned to love him.
Did you like
Jonathan Singleton?
Well, I know you like John Singleton, obviously.
Jake
Marisnick. Yeah.
A little bit.
Okay.
Yeah. George Springer. I think George Springer was kind of poking his head up at the same time Preston Tucker was.
Right. But you were never an A.J. Reed guy.
Love A.J. Reed.
You are? I thought you were the John Singleton guy, not the A.J. Reed guy.
Both of them. Okay. And what's crazy is I like J.D. Davis, too. Like, I can't make up my mind.
Do you like Kyle Tucker?
It's Tyler White.
Do you like Kyle Tucker?
No, I'm not in on him yet. But I did. I started my OOTP game 2 days ago.
Right.
Sunday, whatever, over the weekend.
Yeah.
And I took the Marlins because I wanted to see if I could take a crappy team and like rejigger it.
Right.
Made a bunch of trades. Rusney Castillo is starting for my Marlins team.
Not a shock.
It's very exciting. I cannot unload Wei-Yin Chen. No one wants his contract. No one wants Martin Prado's contract. So I hit him on the 60-day deal.
Nano's the guy that buys like 50 scratchers and gets excited when he wins $5.
Yeah, Jake, it's fun, man. That's what life is all about. On that note, Billions the other night
Kelly O'Coin
made a reference to how I got into college, and I think I was the only one who noticed it.
How you got into college?
No. Remember the movie How I Got Into College?
No.
Jake?
No.
What year is that?
You know who would know that? Chris Cannon downstairs would know that reference.
When Greg said how you specifically, I thought like it was the same thing. Like you were a friend of his, and he kind of gave you like, here's your little Easter egg that only you know.
No, all right, forget it. We're going my draft tonight.
Hold on, I want to know how.
So I accepted.
1989. I was barely born.
How I Got Into College is a great movie. It's funny. It's goofy. It's ridiculous.
Oh, it started Anthony Edwards. I liked him in ER.
Yeah. It's about how a kid who's, talented and bright but doesn't have the best scores, trying to get into a college that the girl of his dreams is getting into. And he only wants to go to the one college because he's in love with a girl.
That's cool.
I believe there's brief nudity, Jake. Draft tonight. So here it is. I don't like shallow leagues. I said yes because I like the guy who asked me to be in it. 3 outfielders, utility, 3 pitchers, 3 starters, 2 relievers, 6 bench players, 12-team head-to-head.
I like that.
It's super shallow. It's 6 by 6. It's homers, runs, RBI, steals, and then on base and slugging. They're separate things. So you can't just go straight for an OPS guy because head-to-head, and you want to win all these categories. On the pitching side, ERA, whip, saves.
Wait, it's head-to-head categories?
Yeah.
So you just got to win 7 out of the 12?
I'd like to win all 12, Jake.
No. But
I see what you're saying. I don't know.
Yeah, do they split like hitting and pitching, or is it just all 12?
Oh, so you're saying if I win the head-to-head challenge, will it be 1-0, or will I be 7-5?
Whatever. Yeah.
I should find out.
It's important.
Yeah, I got to ask that question.
Because that's the thing. That's the big difference. Like, because you said you want to win both. Well, you can actually easily punt categories if you go like with just an overall win. Whereas what you're saying is if you count every single one and you can go 7-5 or 6-6 or 10-2, then you do want to try and get every single category.
Correct.
I'm going to email the league right now and find out. Because they, when I got the first overall draft pick. This is part of the spiel here.
Okay.
Anyway, on the pitching side, it's ERA, whip, quality starts, saves, K per 9, and Ks with a minimum of 15 innings pitched.
Okay.
Wait, so you get K per 9 and Ks?
Yeah.
That's.
Which is good. That plays into my game. Like, I like all that. I don't like the on-base percentage and the slugging.
Well,
anyway,
that overrates starting pitchers a tad.
Does it? Because if you get the K per 9 and the saves, the quality starts is one of those too.
Yeah. I said a tad.
Question.
Yes.
No, sorry. I was just reading the
query.
The email that. How does this score? So anyway, the point is, I got the number 1 pick. I'm obviously going to take Mike Trout.
Great.
I was tempted to trade down for Bryce Harper because you got the slugging and you got the OBP and you got the home runs and you got the steals.
Do you get the retro stats?
Yeah, you do get the retro stats. So I'd get his 4 home runs and his Bazonga's OPS. Daily lineup changes in this league. And Fab runs.
You hate that too. Wow.
I hate that. If I didn't like this guy, I'd be like, I changed my mind.
Right.
Or I'd make like Florio run the team for me.
Sure. That's what Jake does.
Fab on Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday with a $200 budget.
You would probably hate that.
It's hellish for me.
Yeah.
Wait, that's what do I do?
You make Florio run your teams?
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, Jakey. You're looking at these categories. I'm going to have to change my entire strategy. Like I went down and I sorted by on-base percentage, and then I looked over and I said, who's got the highest slugging? I didn't want to just combine the two and go by OPS. And it's just like these boring players after the first 2 rounds. Like guys I don't want on my team. Jake, console me. Who do you target in a league like this?
Well, because of that format, I would hope if you did that. Are you keeping number 1? Are you staying with Trout?
I'm going to keep
trading down?
I don't know these guys well enough to be like, hey, who wants to make a trade? So
I mean, you could just put it out there to everybody. Honestly,
would you take Harper number 1?
No.
Okay.
I would still take Trout number 1. I just meant I like your idea of trading down because I had the one league this is the first year in my entire history in multiple leagues of playing where I've ever had the number 1 pick and got Mike Trout, and I didn't like that draft. It was a 15-team league, so it's a little bit different, but I like that where you are and where you're drafting and giving that format. If they're on the board, if Carrasco and Syndergaard are still there, I'd go starter, bang, bang right there.
Wait, you'd start this off with a
Trout,
Syndergaard,
Carrasco. Or like I would take.
I don't think so.
Because you get the K. Look, first of all, you're getting the Ks and the quality starts. But if you're getting the K per 9, you got to remember that, yes, that values relievers. But if you get a K9 pitcher of that caliber who's going to have about 10 per 9 as a starter, that carries so much more than 1 inning of 2 strikeouts versus 7 innings of 8. The 7 innings of 8 carries a hell of a lot more value. I'm just telling you, the K per 9, because it's like that, if you can get 2 of those top-tier starters that's going to get you 200-plus strikeouts, is a huge leg up.
Strategically speaking, Greg, if everyone else has that same idea, should I switch course and go for, like, Aaron Judge and Giancarlo Stanton on the turn? I doubt they'll be around, but that-ish strategy?
Probably not, to be honest with you.
So I don't fall too far behind.
No, I think you fall way too far. So it's way too far behind, especially with you being on the turn. If you don't grab some pitchers, you're in dire straits.
Should I punt saves, Jake?
Not completely, no, but I wouldn't be too concerned about it. I definitely wouldn't be going after the Jansons and the Kimbrels of the world. That being said, if you're there at that turn, let's say what you just presented, and they go, and including Severino goes too, and DeGrom by the time you get to your second pick, then yeah, I actually would, because if you get a Stanton and he's not going to be there either, but if you go that route and you get somebody who's going to not only have the power, which inflates the on-base percentage, we've had that argument before with Chris Liss about the fact that on-base percentage just rewards power hitters. People don't realize that. But if you get the on-base percentage and the slugging, you get some power bats and go for the first 3, because of the size of your league, you're still going to be able to come back around. But the other reason, like you said, you only start 3 outfielders, which is the other reason why I would attack pitching.
Greg, anything going on in the afternoon games? Well, I guess it's down to afternoon game.
Right now.
We got afternoon game.
Yeah, that sucks.
Scherzer's getting crushed.
Really? Who's doing it?
What happened?
Another one comes in. 4-1 Nationals.
Let's
and they
go!
5-1 Nationals.
Let's go!
No, wait, 5-1 Braves.
That's what I meant. Yeah, 5-1 Braves. Sorry.
Yeah. All right.
Foltynewicz.
Yeah, how many runs has Ozzie Albies scored? Should we change his numbers?
I'm checking right now. As he's 0 for 2, so none.
Well, he might have scored a run.
No, that was actually Folty with the 2 out, 2 RBI double.
You know what? Scherzer got a hit off Folty for the only RBI single of this game for the Nationals. Folty came back and hurt Scherzer. Now let's go.
Wow, Max Scherzer getting touched by the Braves.
Only 2 earned. All those runs are earned because Willem Dafoe let a ball go right past him.
No, Wilmer.
I said Willem.
Yes, you did. Okay, let's get back to baseball. Jakey.
What do you mean, baseball?
It has been baseball.
I mean,
Willem Dafoe's
play. Jake, any chance you read the Tommy Pham article in Sports Illustrated?
I wish I did.
Yeah,
tell me about it.
I urge it was the greatest article I've ever read.
Who wrote it?
Verducci? No, not one of the older guys. Dude who Jack Dickey. I think he used to be a Deadspin.
Okay.
I think his name is Jack Dickey.
You have to understand, when you write as much as I do, I very rarely want to read anything else.
I'm the same way, but someone tweeted into my timeline with a quote from Tommy Pham, and I'm like, holy crap, I got to read this. This is great.
Well, somebody recommends it as highly as you're recommending it right now, I'll go check it out.
Let me tell you something. If you read this Tommy Pham article and you don't make a bunch of trades for Tommy Pham in your leagues,
you're a terrible person.
You didn't read the entire article.
Okay.
I got 3 pages of Tommy Pham quotes. I don't even know where to start.
All right.
And the idea is that Tommy Pham's very angry and remembers that the Cardinals kept him down for so long.
Yeah.
Even though he was destroying the ball.
Yeah.
He tells a story about the start of 2017. We're 2 weeks in and I'm raking. I'm hitting like 400. The big league team was 3-9. All 3 outfielders were hitting 200. So look, this dude is into sabermetrics, is into really new ways to work out.
LASIK.
He actually got corrective contact lenses for some degenerative eye condition that he has.
Yeah.
He said F a lot in this. All 3 outfielders, they tried Matt Adams out there. He's a great hitter, but he just couldn't play the outfield. So I'm like, they're getting the reports every day. They know I'm raking. What the F? When are they going to call me up? And then we're 3 weeks in. The guys are still struggling. Grichuk, Dex, Piscotty. And I'm still balling. So finally I said, they're not going to effing call me up. F it. And I zoned out in AAA. Every day I was just like, F this. I've made it to the big leagues. F it. That's kind of interesting in a way when you think about some of the guys who are in the minors who you know have the talent. And you're like, why is this guy hitting 240? I wonder if Tommy Pham just got disgruntled and was like, screw it.
I can relate.
Well,
What's that?
How can you relate?
Well, when Jake was in AAA.
Continue.
All right. we've had this before. We said it with Orlando Arcia a couple of years ago with the Brewers.
Maybe Acuna does it.
We said it with Francisco Lindor. I'm not even looking at Acuna's stats the next week because it makes no difference.
Right.
Like, they know they don't deserve to be down there. And I think what you don't hear a lot, which is what you heard from Pham, is literally looking at everybody in front of him's numbers. Like he named names, right? Like Piscotty's been terrible, Grishik's been terrible, Matt Adams can't field for the life of him, right? Like he's naming all of these guys.
I know.
He's naming all of these guys. He's like, listen, look at my numbers. It's not like I'm struggling in AAA. I'm crushing it.
Right.
Give me a shot.
This gets better. He stopped showing up for work early, daring his manager to bench. By the way, Jake, where'd you have Tommy Pham ranked this year? Are you high on Tommy Pham?
Yeah, but you're going to have to give me time. I don't even have that sheet open anymore.
While you're looking it up, I'm thinking the Cardinals aren't going to trade me. They won't sell me. He found he had interest in Japan. They won't sell me to Japan. What the F? They clearly don't believe in me. Let a mother effer leave. And they wouldn't even do that. There's a consequence of making it after being so close to quitting. I should have been doing this sooner, he says, sitting in a Chipotle in Miami in early February before we started camp.
Chipotle?
You can't bitch about it because if you bitch about it, you F the team up. But I put up an 824 OPS and a 1.4 WAR and 150 at-bats. Times that by 4. If anybody did that their rookie year, baseball goes crazy over them. But when I did it, they say, oh, he's just the backup. In 2016, I had an 870 OPS before I stopped playing every day. An 870 OPS in the big leagues, that plays. But I never got the recognition. I put up better numbers than these other guys in the minor leagues and the major leagues, and I was a better athlete than these mother effers. I run faster than them. I'm stronger than them. But when a team puts some money in a player, they're going to talk him up. Like, every quote is like that.
When I take out the 4 multi-positional eligibility nonsense outfielders, he's 17th.
I'm making trades for Tommy Pham based on, there's a sad part where it's like he won't be eligible for free agency until after the 2021 season, at which point he'll be 33 going on 34. It sucks a little bit. He says, I'll just have to get my money later. I
mean, look, I have right there with Pollock, Chris Davis, Ozuna, Upton. I think that's where he deserves to be with those names.
I don't know why I didn't love him, but I liked him. I didn't love him before this. Now I love Tom. I think because he was a Cardinal. I don't want any Cardinals on my team.
But it's funny because I love Cardinals.
Yeah.
He checked out a little bit, and he wasn't hitting that well, and found out part of it was his eyes, too. I mean, there was a reason, and it's the late stage, the late age.
Greg,
it's not like we were crazy.
How do you like this one? On his coffee table sits a book of Spanish grammar. Pham has a brilliant smile when he uses sparingly, saving it for moments like this. I ain't going to lie to you and be like, I want to be able to communicate with my Latin teammates. I'm learning because I like Spanish women, he says.
This guy's super
So
honest.
I don't even need to read the article at this point.
No. Okay, so we got 2 minutes. Let me give you the quote that really put me onto him.
Yeah.
A lot of guys in this game are complacent, he says. They'll say, I want to run faster. Let me go run some sprints. I say I want to run faster. I'll look at my mechanics and see how I have a bad knee drive. What causes bad knee drive? I lack ankle mobility. Okay. So if I fix my ankle mobility, I can achieve a dorsiflex position, which could drive my knee up. Okay, I need to improve my stride frequency. Let me go run 30-degree incline sprints at 18 miles per hour so I can improve my stride frequency. And let me do some overspeed training so I can train my neuromuscular system to run faster than I'm biologically capable of. You know what I mean? Guys don't do that, They don't break it down like that. Tell me you don't want to go out and trade for him in every single league right now.
Love it.
Jake, look, I know whatever people don't like this kind of stuff. This is reporting. This is amazing. Doesn't this make you like him more?
Yeah, it honestly does. Can I get the censored version that you have, though?
Well, no, I censored it myself, actually. No, it's censored in the Sports Illustrated.
Jay can't read bad words now?
It's got dashes.
Jay, you've sent me plenty of bombs before. S-bombs, F-bombs.
That are edited.
No, Jake, you swore on TV once. I remember that. On the radio show. On the old Sirius show.
That was the B word. That's not even that big a deal.
I will go plenty of text messages and see Fs, and you go.
I don't think it was the
F.
B word.
Oh, I have plenty of text messages.
You know what, Jake?
It was the B word.
Can we come up with a name for that alter ego that swears a lot? The Beast?
Are you asking? You want to?
Yeah. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back. We're going to come back and take a look at the most added and most dropped players. Be right back with more FST.
What if I were to tell you that there was a professional football league where you, the fan, got to draft a team and call the plays? Is that something you might be interested in? The Fan Control Football League is bringing managerial control to the fans. Visit fcfl.io to learn more.
Have you ever wanted to have a fantasy expert in the palm of your hand? Or better yet, in the pocket of your khakis? Well, check it out. Now you can. It's the Fantasy Sports Radio Network app. Download it now to your phone. We promise no weird viruses, no strange tracking things, just 24 hours a day, 7 days a week of pure fantasy knowledge dropping all over your head. It's the Fantasy Sports Radio Network app. Stop being a weirdo and streaming it online. Get it on your phone. Take it with you everywhere you go.
Fantasy.
Talking to Ray Austin, commissioner of the FCFL, that is the Fan Control Football League.
Tell us more about the product, the Fan Control Fantasy Football League.
We're talking about doing things that are so innovative for the player. If I'm at a smaller school, or if I'm got injured and kind of got forgotten about, how do I get a chance to get my exposure? This new age player we're creating, we want to give that player a chance to have more exposure, that he has a chance to play football at another level if that's possible.
Weekdays on FNTSY Radio and live on the Fantasy Sports Network YouTube stream.
Thanks. I think someone has a crush on you.
Okay, who?
Let's make a game of it. One of these is a lie. He's 6'4". He collects stuffed exotic birds. He spends his free time trying to save lives.
Are you talking about Kevin?
Yeah! He's a registered bone marrow donor. Last week he got a call. He might be a match.
He's so cute. Oh, he is.
You could be a life-saving match for a patient with blood cancer. Learn more at dkms.org.
We're talking trash.
Sweet, sweet trash.
Are you an amusement park guy?
Not really. I do like water slides. I'm a fan of water slides, but this will always be in the back of my head.
I will now not go on a water slide. I thought, I'm going to get decapitated. It's supposed to be fun going on a ride.
I have a hard time at carnivals because I keep thinking that the guy that put this ride together was high, and he didn't graduate from high school. The nuts and bolts, he probably missed one or two. And I'm thinking I'm going to be down the street before the night's over.
Listen live on the FNTSY Radio Network and on popular podcast providers.
Are you new to daily fantasy? Are you a veteran? Either way, you can better your chances of winning money, and lots of it, by going to dailyroto.com. Multiple people have become millionaires thanks to the guys at Daily Roto. Why not take advice from the experts? You can become a millionaire too. Just go to dailyroto.com to rock daily fantasy sports.
Good news, everybody. I got an answer on the league. It's 7-5, not 1-0.
Okay.
Jake, you okay with that still?
Yeah, I'm okay with that. Just change your strategy.
Greg, you got another quote from the Tommy Pham article?
I do. He was so very frustrated that he wasn't called up after an 0-for-5 3-strikeout game by Randall Grichuk. And he said this: what in the actual blank in the F word? Yes. F word! Exclamation point.
Jake, does that sound like Tommy Pham to you?
No, I know what Greg's doing.
That sounds like the Beast.
That was Jake Seeley.
Most added, most dropped. Here we go.
Jake Seeley said that quote to me without the blank, the F blank or stars. He actually spelled the F word out. That wasn't related to the Giants.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Jake. We didn't mean to play a joke on
when they traded away Jason Pierre-Paul, Jake was not happy.
Oh, that's what that was about?
Yeah.
All right, Jake, we'll start with you. Matt Davidson is the most added player in CBSSports.com leagues. Went from 17% ownership all the way up to Greg. You want to guess?
He'd be like Jake and say no.
Well, yeah, that's why. Just put a number out there.
No.
Okay, fine. 78.
No, 78
Matt
really?
Davidson now owned in 78% of CBSSports.com
78.
leagues.
I would not have said 78.
Jakey, what do you think?
Do I think that's a lot, or?
Yeah, is that over ownership? Do you think that's right where it should be because he's finally coming into his own? He'll have 500 at-bats.
Honestly, it should have been around that. He was drafted in most 15-team leagues I know of that I'm in. 12-team leagues, probably on the fringes, should have been paid more attention to because the fact is the power is legit. The guy just had to get to 240, 250 batting average, and all of a sudden everybody's talking about him. I told you, I think we talked about it last week, and I mentioned that Steve Gardner was the one who wrote about him, calling him this year's, if you're looking for, I can't remember the player that they kept referencing. Was it Santana, Domingo Santana? It was somebody last year who was like, who could be this year's blank? Like everybody always loves to do. And he was saying, let's talk about Matt Davidson and pay attention to what he brings.
I like Matt Davidson. I mean, you're going to have to eat the average, but He'll hit home runs for you.
I don't think it's going to be 210 like it was this year. Even the 240, you're going to be happy with what he does.
Yeah, I mean, Jake's basically said it. He's Todd Frazier. He's got a lot of power. If you just stay in the lineup every day and have the average high enough, 240, 250, you're getting a really good player that can hit a bunch of home runs for you. Here's one that I found interesting. Mitch Haniger was only owned in 54% of leagues. That is surprising,
right?
Because I like Mitch Haniger a lot. I know Jake does too.
Terrible spring.
But he's good.
I mean, still, though, that should knock you down to 70 if you're Mitch Haniger. And I guess playing a half season last year didn't help.
Well, so that's a couple things. One is you have bitter owners from last year. He was a hyped player from last year. Everybody was all over him talking about a breakout season. He did perform for a little bit of time, and then you mentioned he got hurt, didn't perform that well within those injuries and a lot of time. So there's a lot of frustration built into this year where people stupidly do it every single. We talk about this every year in fantasy baseball and fantasy football. People get burned and they get ticked off and they don't want to own that player again, which is a stupid move to make. You got to be like a closer in baseball. You have to have a short, you've got to forgive, move on. So that folded into the fact that he had a terrible spring. I think a lot of people were off on him.
Here's an interesting trio. Brad Boxberger, Keone Keela, Tim Anderson, my bad, Greg Holland.
Yep.
Three of the most added players in the CBSSports.com universe.
Yep.
We talked about them on the show at length. We ranked them at everything. Greg Holland, the most added in 28% of leagues. Boxberger in 27, Keela in 27. Here's what I find interesting, Greggy.
Mm-hmm.
None of them are 100% owned. Holland's only up to 84, Boxberger's to 74, and Keela's to 62. A, do you think that's the right order and the correct, this one should be owned in more leagues? B, why do you think they're not owned 100% of leagues?
Well, I'll answer B first, right?
This is not quiz show, Greg. You'll answer A first.
I'll answer B first. The leagues are ultimately not all 12 or 15-team leagues. You're getting 18 leagues in there. 8, 10-team leagues. Guys where you don't leave a player potentially like Keone Keela who you were still waiting on the waiver wire.
Sure.
I think you can potentially wait for Greg Holland to actually be called up. Stuff like that. I think that's how you don't get to 100%.
Are you cool, Holland, Boxberger, Keela as the ranking for you guys?
Yeah, that's what I gave. I gave it to you last week when you asked us the four of them and you included Hunter Strickland in there.
Yeah.
My order was Holland, Strickland, Boxberger, Keela. So yeah, I'm cool with the order too.
That's exact. Well, no, I'm sorry. In the ownership, if you look at just straight ownership, it's Holland at 84%.
Yeah.
Boxberger at 74%. Strickland at 64%, and Keela at 62%.
I'm cool with it.
Jake, what's with the hate for Keone Keela? The guy's amazing.
Yeah, I think it's the fact that we've seen before. We talked about it last week, and you said when we ranked them, it's the wariness of the Rangers and always screwing around with their bullpen. By the way, it looks like the Braves should have made that wall a little bit shorter in right center for Freddie Freeman. But anyway, I think that's the biggest thing is you and I were the Keela fans talking about the fact of his ability, but Greg and Matt were cooler, and honestly, because of what we've been dealt with, is the Rangers how was the last time the Rangers went with a closer even for 90% of their season?
Yeah.
Yeah, but they didn't have a stud like Keela ready to mature into the...
Probably since like Neftali Feliz. I'm not even kidding by that.
Yeah.
It's probably since Neftali Feliz.
I think Keela can do it. If you look at his minor league numbers...
I'm not saying he can't, but can he stay healthy?
Oh, who was not Octavio Dotel. Who was the guy? They made him a starter for a little while. His arm blew out. Was it Octavio Dotel? No.
Well, Octavio Dotel was long before that.
It was after him.
Who are you saying it was, Jake?
No, I was saying that happened with him too. Dotel, if you're thinking about it, that did happen.
Now I'm thinking of the Rangers closer in like 2012.
Hold on.
He was excellent. Maybe he was like the closer in 2010, and then in 2011 they tried to stretch him out to a starter.
Oh no, it's not Neftali.
It wasn't Neftali.
Alexei Ogando. That was
Frank
it.
Stanfield.
That was it.
By the way, Fantasy Best Friends Forever starting in about 10 minutes live on the Fantasy Sports Radio Network.
I should say goodbye to YouTube now.
Oh yeah, we should say goodbye. YouTube, Twitch, Periscope, digital.
Best Friends Forever, better than us.
Oh, Jake, it's just everyone's got to share. You get to be on it, and plus we're still live on the radio. So, and plus you can pick us up as a podcast on iTunes,
SoundCloud,
thank you,
Spotify.
You're more used to this than I am.
Anywhere you listen to your podcast, Google Play Store,
yeah,
you can listen to us. So please check it out.
I don't need to tell you where to find it. People are smart.